Welcome to the drunk
Hey everyone, welcome to the Drunk Tank.
Wow.
Seriously, that was it. That's the one you're going to use this week.
You gonna leave both of those in?
No, the first one was a bust.
Yeah, because the second one was fucking awesome.
The second one at least ended itself quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
I like the anticipation that everybody had there. Everybody's like, what's he going to say next?
That was a poo Z.
I love it. A Poozy just hit him and then get out. I love it.
That's going to be the text message on my phone. Here we do the drunk tea. That's pretty much how it went, right?
So welcome to the Drunk Tank.
Hey.
This is Gavino's last time here, right?
My last poddy.
Thank God.
Yeah, you're getting out of here. I'm gonna have to yell at someone else now.
Woo!
Where'd you come up with the name Gavino?
Where'd I come up with it?
Yeah.
It's my name with an O on the end.
Why not Gavini?
Touche, sir. Touche.
Maybe every 10 years I'll change it to a different letter. after
Gavina.
that.
I can't believe that lame-ass explanation got by Gus.
What's your nickname at my house now, Gavin?
Start slow.
Gavi. No,
No.
it changed, didn't it?
It changed.
What's it now?
Gaver.
Yeah.
I tried to call you Gabby the other day, and Millie informed me that that's no longer your name.
Millie likes to change it up.
She's like nicknames.
She's keeping it real. She's not gonna let that O slide forever.
No. So anyway,
Are you looking forward to going home?
Whatever.
Okay.
I wish I could stay a bit longer, but what are you going to do?
that's that British fire and passion that we're so used to.
Yeah.
That's about as much enthusiasm as you can ever get out of
I mean,
him.
I wish I actually had enough time to finish the season. I mean, I'm going to finish the season, but it's going to be a speed machine.
No, yeah. Well, it'll get done.
Yeah, we're totally gonna get it done.
Yeah, you'll finish it in time, Gavino. We have faith in you.
I've been like cruising along one episode a week, and then now it's like, shit, 4 episodes in 1 week. Let's do it.
As soon as this podcast is over, we're going right into it.
Yeah?
Production, we're gonna shoot the next episode, me and you.
Okay, let's do
You
it.
ready?
Beginning to end.
There's 3 episodes, not 4.
Yeah, it's 3.
Yeah, we've already done one this week.
Oh, I see. So you're counting the time you spent last week. Okay, I understand.
You released one this week. I don't know that you actually did one this week.
It's a metric week.
This is probably fascinating.
Yeah, I'm enthralled.
A metric,
I'm totally fixated.
a metric week is 10 days, so.
That just makes sense, 36.5 metric weeks a year.
So, you guys going to miss me while I'm gone?
No, not really.
I will. I will miss you a lot. I got a lot of stuff done this summer because you were here to help.
Yeah.
Aww.
I did. I will miss Gavin.
We're holding hands.
When are you
I know.
coming back, Gavino?
I don't know.
And I also know that when Gavin leaves, it means Joel is coming back to the podcast.
We'll see. We'll see about that.
We'll have Jack around. We can kick him a few times.
Jack. Yikes.
We haven't beaten that horse to death just yet.
Yeah, he'll be my new yelling target.
How do people like the last podcast? The Jack podcast.
Everyone loves Jack's voice. I'm a little jealous now.
He's sexy.
He's got a good voice.
Yeah, he thinks he has a good voice.
Not
Shame
a lot
about
of
stories.
Not a lot of talent to back it up, but the voice itself is all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got half of the equation.
I'm a little disappointed. I was looking at the upcoming release schedule for games, and I know it's going to be a big fall, but I'm a little disappointed in the past couple weeks releases, and this week in particular.
You're disappointed this week?
Yeah.
This is the last week, essentially the last week between now and Christmas that doesn't have a major title release.
Okay, this is that might be why.
And
the big game to look forward to this week is Saw.
Well, yes and no. Saw's actually a pretty good game. You and I played it at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed it. It was fun. It was kind of like Condemned, right? No, it was fun. We had a good
It was
time.
all right.
It was all right.
We played like the first level.
Yeah, it's not gonna. I mean, I'm sure it's not gonna be the best game in the world, but we thoroughly enjoyed the level we played.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, there is a new FTC regulation that says that bloggers have to disclose whether they're being paid.
I wish we would get paid for something.
Definitely
we said.
not, dear makers of Saw. Please pay us,
So,
please.
So do I have to disclose that we're definitely not being paid?
Yeah, we're definitely not.
I don't think you have to disclose you're not being paid. You just have to disclose if you're being paid.
And that's it.
Your omission of disclosure
Yeah.
is
And the FTC says that
disclosure.
they can't enforce it either. What the fuck's the point?
There are 2 other games coming out this week that you may have overlooked, and that is the South Park Xbox Live arcade
South
game,
Park Tower
which is a
Defense.
pretty good game, Tower Defense, and then Lucidity, which is the new, I believe it's a LucasArts game.
What is it?
Bernie doesn't like it. It's like a platformer.
I don't like the name. A platformer? I don't like it.
Where
No.
you like control, you move the environment.
No.
It's like a girl's constantly walking, and then you're like moving blocks and stuff so that she can get where she needs to
go
go.
go to your bedroom.
Yeah, where you can get her to the bedroom, and then you have to move the rohypnol and just.
God.
Good Lord.
So this South Park game, does it look like the show? Or is it all 3D and stuff?
No, it doesn't have the South Park guys in it.
Oh.
Doesn't look anything like the show. It's got the Simpsons characters, actually. Fucking idiot. Of course it looks like the show. God damn, dude. Are you going to... We're 2 minutes into the podcast and you're already stupid.
No, because I remember I played South Park on the N64 and it was all 3D.
Yeah, well, this isn't 1992. Okay?
Jesus.
We got graphics now.
They're
What
going
the
way
fuck?
subversive. It's going to be branded South Park,
I
but
just
it
thought
has
that it-
nothing to do with it whatsoever.
No, I just
I
thought
hope you
it-
like
because
Family.
it-
If you like Family Guy, you'll love the South Park game.
Because it's an arcade game, I thought it might be all like, 2D and side-scrolly and stuff.
They're
I was
actually
just
gonna-
wondering, sorry for asking a question about a fucking game, Jeff.
It's a tower defense game, Gavino.
They're actually planning on doing an episode of South Park where the kids play the game and hate it and encourage people not to buy it. That's how subversive they're going to go with this.
No, you're always insightful and valuable.
You're going to miss this, aren't you, Gavino? Who's going to yell at you when you go back home?
My cat. I'll just
Gus and I can pre-record some stuff, and then whenever you get lonely, you can just open up iTunes and hit insult number 37.
Okay,
Yeah.
somebody just ruined a Red versus Blue joke.
that's a joke.
Is it?
You just
You
ruined,
just
ruined the
ruined a
next-
Red versus Blue joke. It's coming up in an upcoming episode.
Oh,
well.
I haven't read the rest of the season. I didn't know that.
It's in a script with you.
Oh, really?
Sarge says that to Griff. So
Did he say number 37?
no.
All right, well, it's not ruined.
So tower defense is a genre.
I guess so. It seems like it became really popular.
Because
Yeah.
when you said tower defense, I thought tower defense was a title of like some Flash game, and that they had purchased it and rebranded it as South Park. But I looked up tower defense on Wikipedia, and it's a subgenre of real-time strategy.
I don't know what tower defense means.
Yeah,
What?
you said it. What does it mean?
You
What
don't
is tower defense?
It's like that.
I'm going to hit you.
What? Because I don't know what tower defense means.
I said I didn't know either. You gonna hit me too?
Yeah,
you're
you're
my-
going to take on the whole room, Gus.
You're my-
We're ready.
You signed my paycheck.
Couch versus chairs. Let's go. So what is tower defense?
You know what tower defense is? It's
Yeah.
like those Flash games that were really popular for a while, where you set up like a series of turrets and defenses to defend like an area while like an onslaught of enemies comes, and you just have automated turrets that are always shooting.
And then you can upgrade your turrets and stuff. And
I'm gonna let you
Add
know a
turrets.
secret. I don't play Flash games. I think I played the Yeti sports game. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you played tower defense.
everybody
Pretty sure I
played
didn't play tower defense. The
Everyone.
closest thing you're talking about to what I've ever played is a game called Field Runners, which is on the iPhone.
I don't know, dude. We played that game heavily in the office, back in the old office.
There was a Flash thing I did. I don't know if you call it a game because you didn't do anything in it. But do you remember the zombie apocalypse simulator?
Yes, I do remember that.
Where you had a city and everybody was purple dots, and it would be one green dot, and they had like behavior for the, I guess the flock, for lack of a better term, and you could watch the infection spread throughout the entire city.
That's cool.
Or it was possible they could stop it and kill all the zombies. It was awesome.
You also play a little bit of Left 4K Dead.
What?
Left 4K Dead.
Well, I
Left
don't
4
know.
Dead in 4K.
Yeah, you showed that to me,
Oh
actually.
yeah, yeah. I thought that was cool because it was a game made in 4K.
You know what we're talking about, Gav?
Nope.
It's a Flash game someone made, and they like tried to recreate Left 4 Dead, but in only 4 kilobytes, using only 4 kilobytes of data.
How did that turn out?
Surprisingly fun.
Yes, surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's like a top down. It's like a bunch of pixels and lines running around and shooting, but it's okay. You can play it for a bit before you get tired of it.
Hey, speaking of games, what is the iPhone game that you guys are fucking
The
obsessed
game that's
with?
taken the world by storm.
Doodle
Well, the-
jump.
I went to lunch with you guys, with you three yesterday, and the entire lunch, all three of you sat in front of your iPhones.
I know. It's so
playing
weird
that
because
game.
There's nothing worse than someone who can't sit still for like 10 seconds without whipping out their iPhone and playing some game. It's the most annoying thing because everyone I know has an iPhone. It's like you never see anyone just sitting still doing nothing anymore. It's always like. But I have totally become one of those assholes who whips out Doodle Jump on my iPod Touch every time I've got a spare moment.
Doodle Jump's awesome. It's like a game where
It's
you're
a
like a
game-
little octopus, and you like jump on platforms. Up
Yeah, I saw
the height.
octopus.
I'm explaining to people who are listening.
Okay.
It's like you have like a,
Well, you're looking at me. I thought you were explaining it to me.
You just said to mine, and you're like, "Hey, I know all of us. Who the hell are you talking to?"
anyway, you jump up platforms and try to go as high as you can.
You're a
And
thing
you
that's
can shoot.
constantly jumping, and you
Right.
just have to, and stuff's moving.
It's awesome.
And it's the best game, and it's also a fucking bullshit game, and it's stupid.
Okay, good. What's your high score, Gus?
My high score's only like 27,000.
What's your high score, Gavin?
My high score is 56,096.
What's your high score, Bernie?
56,270.
The thing is, when we went to Seattle, me and Bernie were like passing back the iPhone, trying to outdo each other. And then Bernie eventually topped out at 56,200 and whatever. And I was like, fuck, I'm never going to beat that. The other day, while I was doing a poo, I was playing... sorry for poo reference. I was playing Doodle Jump. And I was like...
I just love the look on Gus's face.
Go ahead.
Just
Total
Gus go.
defeat.
You're playing doo-doo jumps.
I was playing Doodle Jump. And I was playing away. I was getting really high. I was like, oh, shit, this is awesome. I took one little glance at the score, and I saw that I was on 52,000. And I was like, Jesus, I could overtake Bernie. And as soon as I looked at the score, my hands started shaking like crazy because I was like, oh, no. And because it's all based on the tilt of the iPod or iPhone, it just went to hell. So I just couldn't play. I was just shaking so much. I was like, oh. And it gets to the point where every single platform is moving as well. And I lost it from there. And I died 200 points below Bernie's score.
So you literally had you made one more platform, you would have topped his score.
Exactly.
And you fucking blew it.
I blew it.
Grace under pressure. Congratulations.
I just want to say, in defense of my low doodle jump score, I just started playing at lunch yesterday.
Yep, that's right.
So I got the learning curve going. I'm getting caught up.
Right?
I'm going to overtake them.
Are you addicted to it?
Yeah, it's fun.
Is it replaced flight control for you?
I haven't played Flight Control in a while. Even when that new map came out, I didn't play that very much.
Oh, I didn't know there was a new map.
Yeah, and the new map introduced like something interesting. Like they changed the gameplay a little bit. In that new map, sometimes planes appear that you have no control over their flight path. Like they come in and they have their own flight path to land. You cannot change that flight path, and you have to alter all of your flight paths around it.
That sounds kind of awesome.
Terrorists.
Have they retrofitted that to the other maps, or is it only like
no?
that
It's only on that one map.
Oh yeah.
It's it's horrible. That game is terrible.
The complaint you had about that game,
Is that
Doodle
it's
Jump
bad.
suffers from the exact same thing.
I agree.
So
No, it's all the iPhone games suffer from what you're talking about, which is that goes back to the old school games like Pac-Man and Galaga, where you get kind of used to nowadays where you have checkpoints and you can save, or you unlock levels and you can play the harder levels, whereas games that used to be in the past that you just started at level 1 and you went as far as you could, and the next time you played, you started at level 1 and you went as far as you could, and it's kind of rough to go back to that with Doodle Jump because the first 5 to 10 minutes of every game you're getting past levels you can get past.
That's what it's all about. It's endurance.
I know, but there is an endurance, portion to the event.
Dude, endurance is a waste of time.
yeah, but they shouldn't start you at 50,000 points in Doodle Jump every time. You gotta build up to that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Just because you guys suck at it doesn't mean it's bad.
But if
boring,
you
though.
get to, but if you get to like say your high score is 180,000, it's. Do you want to go through the first 50,000? I mean, is that relevant at that point in time?
have you looked at the leaderboards for that game?
Yes, I think the highest is like 1.3 million.
Yeah,
now.
that's it.
That's bullshit.
Our buddy John or JB, he estimated that person played that game of Doodle Jump for 90 minutes to get that score.
Holy shit!
Because his high score is in the 90,000s, like he has 95,000 or something like that, and he said that took him about 10 to 15 minutes.
That is, but I bet that guy put his iPhone into like a robotic arm and had some weird computer tilting the iPhone. There's no way
You're
you can play
right.
that
He
game
probably
for 90
did.
minutes.
That's probably exactly what happened.
90 minutes.
I bet
no.
he invented a robotic Doodle Jump playing arm specifically to get the highest score in the world.
You know what, Gavin? I'm gonna
sorry,
go with
guys.
you on this because they say the simplest solution is always the right answer, right?
That's right.
And that makes total sense.
Why
That's what they would do.
Why wouldn't it be a robotic video game playing arm?
Man.
You're going to be embarrassed when
fucking
Gavin turns out to be
genius.
right. You're going to be very embarrassed.
It's the Terminator. They're going to fucking attack us with Doodle Jump iPhones.
I mean, you saw the video of that robot flicking those balls around.
Did that excite you?
Yeah.
Speaking of
One robot, 2 balls.
speaking of high scores, Finchland just this morning was telling me he saw some guy in ODST in Firefight on the big map that has the wraiths and the warthog and the choppers.
Yes.
Some guy single-handedly by himself played a one-person game of Firefight on Legendary and got like 1.7 million points and stacked
Fucking
up
hell.
24 choppers.
What did he do?
I guess he just used choppers, and as soon as one died, he just hopped in the next one, and he had like just an assload of choppers. I can't imagine that. That's fucking
Jesus.
retarded.
But what? How long would that game last?
Finch told me, and I don't remember how long it lasted, but it was hours. It was like 7 hours or something like that.
Wow.
I know I'm going to
Shit.
misquote that, but yeah, that's fucking nuts, right?
That's insane.
That's nuts, because the thing about Firefight is that it's exactly the same difficulty whether you have one person or whether you
Yeah.
have 4. So
Maybe-
he had to single-handedly fight off
Yeah.
like 4 people's worth of
Like a
Covenant.
billion chieftains. Yeah.
Like a billion.
A billion.
Well, if you got a wide open map, it's a lot easier and you're on a chopper.
It's true.
you know?
That chopper helps a lot. But maybe we can find the file share, or the Bungie reporting.
Jeff and I just
on
did
DNet.
a little video about getting a Wraith in Firefight.
Oh yeah, we found out you can I guess glitch isn't the right word, but if you go through a series of events, you can actually get in a Wraith in Firefight.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say it's a glitch, but in Bungie.net, they've put in the functionality to kill with a Wraith, so I guess it's not a glitch. It's just, if you know how to do it, you can do it.
Yeah, we'll have a
Put
video.
in the functionality kill with a wraith. What does that mean?
Like,
In the
you know,
reporting.
yeah, if you check your stats for a game on Bungie.net, you can see all the weapons you used and the most used weapons. And Wraith Turret are both in there.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, I'm sure every weapon is in there. I'm sure battle rifle is in there, even though ODST doesn't have battle rifles. I mean, it's
maybe
it's part of a much larger engine.
I guess so. I guess you're right.
My whole problem with that is I can't imagine a vehicle that I am less effective with than a Wraith. I don't think I've ever been in a Wraith for more than 5 seconds before someone's killed me.
I don't know. Wraith's pretty fucking powerful. The only problem
it's
with
an absolute machine.
Yeah, it is. The only problem with the Wraith is that it's like a phantom magnet, and when the phantoms come, I swear they stick around longer if there's a Wraith there, and they just pepper you forever.
It's a good tactic if you've got 3 other people running around the map, but if it's just you, the phantoms are just going to hammer the
because
shit out of you.
all the attention is drawn to you and your Wraith.
Yeah.
We were not able to get anywhere near our high score using that Wraith. They were actually pretty low-scoring games, but it was fun to do.
Speaking of ODST firefight videos, we have a firefight video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we would try to do a firefight video podcast and played for God knows how many hours.
We played for a couple hours, and you whittled it down to like the I guess the word best doesn't apply, but you whittled that down to 9 minutes or so.
Yeah, I got like
10 minutes.
10 funny minutes out of 4 hours of pain.
It was basically us trying to get to the chieftain round in Legendary.
Yeah, and we never.
And in the end, we were just
get
like,
past the chieftain round. We got to the chieftain round several times.
Man, chieftains.
Yeah, I'll have to.
So
I'll
scary.
upload that and put that in the link dump. But we eventually had to tone it down to heroic to get through it.
I love the fact that all 4 of us freak out every time a chieftain comes near us. Andrew Pannon, he's just like, what, chieftain? Plasma pistol and then pistol. Like
Yeah,
it's nothing.
dude. I saw that. That's fucking ridiculous.
Of all the game types in Halo, I think firefight I'm worst at.
Really?
Yeah, I thought co-op would be good, but I don't think I'm good at co-op games.
Your problem is that you don't ever do combos. You get the most kills every game, but you get the shittiest score because you just don't string them together. That's what you got to do in firefight. Kill stuff quickly.
I'm not trying to go for points. I'm just trying to last as long as we possibly can. I'm just trying to kill all the enemies. I'm not trying to do it with flair or style. I also usually have the least deaths too. But Left 4 Dead, I'm not a good partner in Left 4 Dead.
No.
Like whenever I play with Joel or anybody or Finch, anybody who's ever played Left 4 Dead with me can probably attest to the fact that I'm a bad player. It's like, fuck you guys, I'm out of here.
You're angry.
Yeah. I generally try to be a manager, which doesn't work too well in a co-op gaming environment.
Some of that comes through in this.
Yeah, I think you see a little bit of it in that video.
Where the fuck
Just a
were you
little bit.
guys? I think is my big quote.
Yeah, you had ran all the way to the other end of the map.
I'm not running to the other end of the map for fucking exercise. I'm running because there's 3 chieftains on me, and you guys are killing grunts up by the room, going wee, and I'm getting chased by chieftains. I'm getting chased by chieftains. I can't run through the chieftains.
The great thing is, you see us kill 7 brutes on our side. I get through them and then start running to try to help Bernie, but he's running away from me, so there's no way I can catch up. It's like I'm running and you're running. I'm never going to catch up to you.
Well, we're going in a circle, so eventually I'm going to come back around. I mean,
You should run away.
I should have been running counterclockwise around the map. Oh, so stupid!
It is a fucking Halo map. I'm not going to run to the next town, and set up shop.
But the moral of the story is, if anything's happening to Bernie, drop everything you're doing, leave all the brutes, let them chase you.
What was it Joel said? There's no shorter amount of time than the time in which Bernie is jumped on by a hunter, and in which he immediately starts yelling at everybody else to come help him.
Man, I was playing with someone like that in Left 4 Dead last night. Who, the second he got touched by a zombie, he was screaming for help, and I was like, come on, just quit being a bitch. We have our own... I see the hunters on you. There's 2 other people got caught by smokers. I'm trying to help them first. I'll get to you when your time comes up. Fucking pull a number, dude.
You're in the hopper, buddy.
It's first jumped, first served around here.
So, were you playing Crash Course last night?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
It's fun. I wish it was more levels. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's a
only
little
2.
short, right?
Yeah.
But it is a lot of fun.
I didn't realize that it was only 2 small
Chapters.
I
Yeah.
thought it was a whole campaign.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's 2 chapters.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, but they're I think. Well, I was gonna say they're longer than
Plus,
a normal
it
chapter.
seems like there's not as much variety in object placement to me. It seems like I always find ammo at certain spots, and the witch is always at the end of that fucking container.
Yeah.
Don't you always feel that way, though?
No, but normally there's a lot more variety. I feel like there's less options. There are definitely some places where ammo always is, and I never felt like that with previous maps.
They
Ammo, definitely.
ammo definitely.
Ammo
yeah.
piles are always in the same place.
really?
There's always one of the subway cars on
Yeah.
that one table. Like somebody set up a little table next to a crashed subway car.
The
for
thing
example.
about Crash Course that is kind of cool that makes it different is that It's like a lot more intense. Like those 2 chapters are a lot more intense than a normal or one of the previous.
How are they more intense?
Well, they immediately start you off with tier 2 weapons that are like at your disposal almost immediately.
sounds less
And like
intense.
you get more special infected faster in the game. Like I literally started, Andrew Pan and I, the first game we played, we had a tank. We spawned with a tank. Like we started the map and there was a tank immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
Like cutscene ends and there's a tank.
Pretty much, yeah. Like you
pretty
go
cool.
about 10 feet and you
So
get a
there's,
tank.
so there's no real build-up anymore, because everyone's...
Yeah, because they're so short, I guess they just wanted to make it action-packed. So you're constantly
Well, that's
fighting
okay.
special infected, and so it may be just 2 chapters, but those 2 chapters are pretty intense.
It seems like there's a lot more objects for tanks to throw around too.
Fuck, dude.
Like
You aren't
when the
kidding.
tank comes up, like they don't chase you and try to hit you anymore. Like they are fucking knocking all the environment at you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's achievements in this one associated with being a tank and hitting cars at people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta hit
20.
kill 20 people with cars.
I didn't realize that until like after I had played a couple times, and I was like, oh well, I've got a bunch of those already.
Yeah, it's cumulative. though,
Yeah,
so
which is
you
good.
But I've played it, I don't know, 10 or 15 times for achievement videos, and I have yet to become a tank. So
Speaking of achievements,
Yeah, it's rough, dude.
yeah,
I have big news.
what's that?
I finally 1,000 pointed a game,
No, you didn't.
Whoa, which one?
Halo 3.
That's not 100%.
I didn't say 100%. I said 1,000
So,
pointed.
have you done some DLC?
Yeah, I did.
So it
I
doesn't even count.
I was playing a DLC map. I was playing like a legendary map the other day, and I got like a double-double. It gave me 25 points, which finally gave me 1,010 points in Halo 3.
You only now just got 2 double kills.
So how do you feel?
I feel like I said when Halo 3 came out that it would be the first game I 1,000 pointed, and I was afraid that maybe Fallout 3 would overtake it or another game, and I'm glad Halo 3 was still my first 1,000
You don't have
point
1,000 points in Fallout 3?
game. No, I do not have 1,000 points in any game.
Wow.
How close are you in Fallout?
I don't know, 700,
So-
800.
That's got to be the worst achievement to time management in the history of video games.
Quite possibly.
You've played that game like probably 200 hours. I don't know how you don't.
Well,
have...
remember also like the game fucked up for me, and I missed a bunch of like plot related achievements because
go-
I
you can
like
go back and get
circumvented
them,
it. No, because GNR Plus is blown up. Like those people are all dead. I can't go back there.
Oh, right, because you went somewhere early.
Yeah, like I skipped all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Well,
No.
but I skipped it all and I got it too. Like you're talking about are you talking about the radio
Yeah.
achievements? You can go back and get them.
You can? I tried going back once
You can
and
go
I
back to
couldn't.
see Short Dog or whatever his name was.
So I have a question.
Three dog.
Three Dog.
I have a question I'd like to ask Bernie now. Do you reckon it's less impressive to get 1,000 points using new achievements than it is to get the original 1,000 points now that... Like, say the DLC is out in both situations, but if you've done what Gus has done and used some DLC to get 1,000 points, is that less impressive than getting just the original 1,000
Absolutely.
points?
Gavin, I want you to listen to me because I'm explaining this to you for the last fucking time. Okay, this is it. This is the definitive guide to how I feel about this
isn't
stuff.
going to answer my question, though, is
I
it?
don't give a shit about the points at all. The points don't matter. All that matters to me is completing it 100%.
Right, but if I said to you, I've got 1,000 points in Halo 3, would it matter to you whether I'd used DLC or just got the original?
Yes, because you don't have 100%. I don't know why you can't figure that out.
Why are you stuck on the term 1,000 points?
1,000 is not 100% anymore. If the total is 1,750, what's 100% of 1,750? Quick.
1750.
There you go.
Yeah. So it matters if you've 1750'd the game.
I wish we had a
1,000
s-
points is just it's a flag that no longer matters.
In fact, in the dashboard, there is now a thing that says how many completed games that you have. That's all I pay attention to, basically,
Yep.
is how many completed games I have. Saw a dude the other day on some site, he has like 89 completed games.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wait, so you can see other people's completed games?
I was going to point that out. But no, you can't see other people's completed games, which I think is a major shortcoming of
Well,
the
that's funny,
dashboard.
'cause
I agree.
Has that dude who completed 89 games, has he ever completed talking to a girl?
Oh.
Has he unlocked that achievement yet?
Yeah, I'm sure she was at your D&D night or whatever the fuck.
Hey, we're playing D&D tonight.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, you are?
And there's girls there.
Hey.
So in your face.
Do you guys want to disclose anything about who's playing the girl? Who has the girl character? Is there anything you guys want to disclose about D&D for your FTC regulations? I'm actually hoping some of that comes out. I think D&D's paying some people to blog,
I think you might be
I
right.
think you are correct.
and I hope it comes out. I wonder if it's going to have to be retroactive.
I don't know.
Or if, like, say you have your 6th blog entry coming up, and you've already done 5. Are you? Well, we already have started this program, so we don't have to disclose this one.
No, you probably have to disclose anything that gets new. Like, you wouldn't have to go back and disclose those 5, but you'd have to disclose the 6th.
Do you know what's interesting to me about that? Is that the FTC is now ruling on media on the internet. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You know, the ESRB, which is the governing body of rating video games, that's not a government agency. That is a private agency that's kind of like a conglomerate of the video game companies themselves. And they take it much more seriously as a result.
Right, they regulate themselves so that the government won't do it.
Which is very, very, very smart.
Right.
That's also what the MPAA is, you know? The Motion Picture Association of America is not a government agency. They just do it so that, hey, look what we're doing, government. You don't need to kind of step in and regulate us.
Right.
Which I think is smart. You know, Left 4 Dead 2 has been banned now in Australia.
Yeah.
Or, I shouldn't say that. Did they clear up that ratings thing yet?
I don't think they've cleared it up yet.
And their thing was at the Australian board, I don't know what it's called, but they said this game is unrateable, which now means it can't be sold in retail stores in
How
Australia.
is it unrateable?
Because it features, I'll look it up, but it's something like it features infected human beings being killed by the players in ridiculous ways.
But didn't Left 4 Dead have that, and didn't they sell that in Australia?
I don't know.
I
What about
wonder.
Dead Rising?
I wonder what changed.
I don't know. Maybe
So,
Left 4 Dead 2 is
if
that
it's-
much more intense.
There's 2 black main characters. Australia's
it's not-
racist.
If it's private and not government ruled, why does every game? Can a game developer decide they don't want to put their game through that? Because do they have to do it?
They cannot sell in retail stores now because they can't be rated. They have to have the rating to sell. We actually had to redo our packaging for Red vs. Blue DVDs in both New Zealand and in Australia. And so I think they share some similar, ratings
So-
operations.
Yeah, I know when we went down to New Zealand, when I went to Auckland without you, I was selling DVDs there, and we had to get the DVDs, rated by the New Zealand Film Board, and I had a roll of stickers that I had to put on all the DVDs I sold that said what the rating.
What's
on
our
it
rating?
was. It was like 17 with a yellow octagon.
It's awesome.
So,
rating.
so say there was a retailer and a game developer who got together and said, "We don't need to go through the ESRB because it's not government." Could they do that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think so. That's there's kind of a similar thing in comic books. There's this thing called the Comics Code, which was created because the government started cracking down on comic books for being too adult. This is in the 40s and the 50s, and so all the comic book companies got together and created this thing called the Comics Code, and they all voluntarily put it on their comics.
Once again, a private industry regulation.
Private industry, and it's. Oh, and it was there my entire childhood, the entire time I collected
I can't
comic
believe
books.
that works.
But it's gone now. A lot of people just dropped it. Marvel was the last company to still use it. Well, I think Archie Comics probably, but nobody gives a shit about that. Marvel was the last major comic to put it on their comics, and they took it off a couple of years ago.
Speaking of self-regulating, I think, even with movie ratings, I think theaters don't have to enforce those, right? They choose to enforce it, but they're not legally obliged to. If you're 14 and you buy a ticket to a rated R movie, there's no repercussions for that.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
I didn't
true.
know that either.
I'll have to investigate that then.
Sure.
I saw a sign on a convenience store the other day that said if it was a warning saying if you're a minor and you come in and misrepresent your age for tobacco sales, that the store reserves the right to prosecute you and to sue you, and any adults who help you, including parents.
Smart.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Here's why it was refused classification. This is according to Kotaku.
This is Left 4 Dead, right?
Yes, Left 4 Dead 2. The game contains violence that is high in impact and is therefore unsuitable for persons aged under 18 to play. It notes that this violence is, quote, inflicted upon the infected who are living humans infected with a rabies-like virus that causes them to act violently. Also, the report singles out the use of melee weapons as those that inflict the most damage and cause copious amounts of blood, spray, and splatter, decapitations, and limb dismemberment, or even cause intestines to spill from the wounds. I think that's probably the big thing.
So it's the melee weapons that did them in.
Yeah.
So they're saying that they don't want people even over the age of 18 to play that.
No?
Guess so.
Yeah, well, they can't get it through retail stores, so what are they going to do? What region is Australia?
I don't know.
For encoding.
Region. They're the same region as Japan. I think it's region 2. Yeah.
That's weird stuff. We don't region encode any of our DVDs, even though they have ratings on them for Australia or when we sell them in the UK. They're all just free region. They're NTSC typically, but yeah, it just seems weird that you would region encode your DVDs and screw up the markets, and someone could get a hold of a DVD and they couldn't play it.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I hate that. But you mentioned retailers in Australia, video game retailers. I read that the PSP Go is not being carried by EB Games in Australia
Why?
because it's hardware, and game stores don't make money on hardware. Typically, they make it selling other stuff, selling accessories or games or whatever, or used games in their case. And the PSP Go gets all of its games through download.
Sure.
Right.
So EB Games figured they couldn't make any money on it, so they're just not stocking it in Australia.
Makes sense.
I mean, in a way that makes sense, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily sell Steam gift cards, in my retail shop. I mean, if nothing else, it's it's the beginning of the end for retail stores, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, once you start having devices where you're delivering directly to the platform, that's the future. Everybody knows that, you know? I mean, I love the games on demand feature on Xbox 360 now, where you can just, you know, it's tempting sometimes to say, wow, I can not have a disc. I want to go back and replay BioShock. And it's like, well, for $19, I can just have it on my Xbox at any point in time and not put the disc in.
As opposed to trying to track down your disc that you haven't seen in 2 years and then installing it and that whole thing.
Yeah, and then it's a convenience thing, too. I can just swap back and forth whenever I want to. You know, $19 is a little steep for that for a game I already own, but if I didn't own the game, it'd be a no-brainer.
It's
If Dan hadn't stole my copy of Mass Effect, maybe I wouldn't be thinking about buying a download version of it.
But that kind of thing would really help out with that Guitar Hero Van Halen situation, right? Where the retailers just don't want it because it's oversaturated.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So they may as well just say, well, download it then.
Yeah,
Probably tell people what you're talking about, too.
yeah. Tell people what you're talking about.
Tell us what you're talking about, Gav.
Oh, did you not talk about that last week? I thought you did.
I don't believe we did.
Nope.
Okay,
No.
my bad. Well, Jeff, you tell me about it, because you told me about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Here's the story.
I'm half tempted to kick you out right now.
GameStop went.
Right, kick you
GameStop,
out of the country.
I didn't realize my last podcast would be a half cast.
GameStop went to a Van Halen concert, and they were very unimpressed. So then now they no longer sell Van Halen. What it was that some retailers said that they weren't going to sell the Van Halen version of Rock Band,
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero because they were just too oversaturated, and there was too many titles in the market, and so then Guitar Hero had to start giving away copies of Van Halen.
That's as I understand it.
I was so
yeah,
surprised.
they were giving it away with pre-orders of Guitar Hero 5, I think.
Okay.
I don't know that it's not going to come out in stores. I heard that. Somebody told us that.
I find it preposterous that they think that market's oversaturated. It seems like that market does generate a lot of money. It seems like there's always lots of sales with those games.
Isn't it like the third highest selling genre
Yeah.
or something like that?
Seems fishy to me.
Yeah.
My PS3 experiment is over.
Oh, as of when?
Yesterday, as of Monday. And so I played some Beatles Rock Band because that's what I've really been waiting to play.
How is it?
I think it's great. I mean,
Really?
I think it's awesome. I have a problem where I don't know if I calibrated my first Guitar Hero, which was Guitar Hero 2. I don't know if I calibrated that wrong. I don't know if it can because it was wired. But it seems like Rock Band, the timing is different on when you strum. On Guitar Hero, I thought it was always like right before it hits, you know, as it's hitting. And Rock Band seems to be like as it's leaving.
You probably had bad calibration.
But that's to do
Or
with
my
the
new
video,
one or my
right?
old one?
On your old one.
My old one was wired, though.
No, but that's
so-
That doesn't matter. It's the TV and your sound system that it's
Oh, that's
calibrating
right.
for.
Yeah, I probably had bad calibration.
Yeah.
So, this is the first like music genre game you've played since Guitar Hero 2. Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't. It didn't affect me in any way.
Yeah, I remember you getting about halfway through Guitar Hero 2, like when we all got bit by the bug, and then you were like, "No, fuck this, that's
just-
enough."
Yeah, and I even bought Rock Band and then just brought it to the office, and because I thought it was neat, and I played the drums I think twice at my house. I was like, yeah, that's enough.
That's work.
Super looking forward to Lego Rock Band so that I can introduce my kiddos to, you know, playing instruments and things like that.
Are you going to pick up the wireless mics? You said the wireless mics work in that, right?
I've got it.
Great.
It's cool, man.
How do you, like? I haven't set mine up yet. I have I have all that shit, but you know, because of my house, I haven't set it up.
Yep.
Do they just sync up and work? Because before they just worked in that one title.
Oh no, they're fine.
Okay, great.
I understand they even have a patch now that makes them work for Rock Band 2.
Oh, awesome.
I think so. There was one major title, and I think it was Rock Band 2, that they weren't working with for a long time, and they finally put out the patch for it. But it worked right out of the box with Beatles.
Great. I look forward to doing that one day.
Yeah, and I assume they work. It gave me an A or a 96% on one song that I sang, so maybe it doesn't work as well as it should because I should not be scoring 96% on singing.
Were you playing on the super easy setting?
No, that's only available in Lego Rock Band, the very easy setting, or whatever that's
What,
called.
for singing?
I think in Beatles Rock Band there's a no fail option though.
Oh,
I think there is. Yeah.
well, that wouldn't give me 96%.
Yeah.
That would just make me not fail.
Yeah, but you said like in Lego Rock Band there's like a super easy setting, right?
Yeah, it's like so the kids only have to hit like red or yellow, and there's only one that's on the screen at a time.
Yeah, I think we saw that. You and I played it at Comic-Con, right?
Yep, we did.
Yeah.
And then it was pretty cool. I think my kids are going to like it a lot. At least I hope so.
Pick that up from Millie and see if she wants to be a singer
When
someday.
does that come out?
Gosh, I think November 17th I want to say, but I'll look it up and give you a better date than that.
Per FTC regulation, I'm required to say that.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
So much stuff coming out over the next 2 months. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Modern Warfare 2 is just like, I mean, you can just see it growing.
Oh yeah.
It's gathering the steam. November 10th is when Rock Band Lego comes out.
What? That's the same day as Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Which one am I going to get?
It's only $50 though, so if you're short $10, you can get it on either the Wii, the PlayStation 3, the 360, or the DS, all on the same day.
The crazy thing to me is Left 4 Dead 2 and Assassin's Creed 2 come out on the same day.
I can't wait for Assassin's Creed 2. Fucking love that game.
Yeah,
Great.
Well, they're both. I'm super looking forward to both of them. They're both fucking fantastic games.
Now until the end of the year, it's just Left 4 Dead 2 for me.
Really?
Absolutely. Love that game.
Yeah.
I love that game. It's an original game, you know? I mean, there's not many games that come out. I haven't played a game like Left 4 Dead. Even though it's a shooter, it's so unique in the way they set it up. It's really refreshing after all these years to have something that feels new to play. And I remember when I first saw it at PAX, I think a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Left 4 Dead 1, you mean?
Yeah, Left 4 Dead
2
1.
years
I was
ago.
like, I'm not going to play that game. You know, you could see people through walls and stuff.
Your brother was constantly talking to us about it because your brother's like obsessed with zombies like us, and he was constantly
Yes.
sending us news and stuff about it, and we were both like, "This looks dumb."
Yeah, it's like fast zombies.
That was the big thing. And there's like special zombies. There's no special zombies. That's
And then
retarded.
you played it, and the first time you played it, you hated it, Bernie.
Did I really?
Yeah.
I remember that. We
Yeah.
played a
Hated
demo in
it.
the office. Yeah.
It's because you stepped out of the safe room, started playing, and a horde came right away. And you're like, oh, this is stupid.
I can't see anything. I can't
Right.
even move. Yeah.
Right.
And about 20 minutes later, you were like, "Jeff, come here. Jeff, come here.
Look at
This
this.
is the best game
Look at
ever
this one.
made."
Look at the one with the hoodie on. Jump. You know?
It totally makes sense. I get it now.
And playing with the melee weapons is awesome because we've had a chance to do that. And
Yeah.
probably, they talked about in the Australia report. They talked about how guts spill out and how you can take off people's arms and things like that. Like even the pipe bombs are different now. When you throw a pipe bomb out there, instead of them all gathering around it and there's a big red mist, now all the bodies go flying. Like,
Oh,
nice.
really?
Yeah, they fly up in the air and they all
Wow, that's
it's a huge,
cool.
huge explosion of bodies. So
Well, even if you have like 30 zombies around one.
well, I don't know if it does every single one of them, but yeah,
pretty
it's
cool, though.
not just the red mist anymore. They've definitely stepped things up. And we heard recently, Gabe Newell said that they've had 300% more pre-orders than they did for the original Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, and that they're spending. And this is Gus's story. I tried to tell Gus about this yesterday.
Okay,
afternoon.
no, let me tell you something.
Okay.
Wow.
Because I'm a little upset now, because I just thought about something else. Earlier in this podcast, Jeff complained that we just sat there with our iPhones playing Doodle Jump the entire lunch. At this same lunch, I read a press release to the table that Valve had sent out, talking about how they were spending $25 million marketing Left 4 Dead 2, and with that 300% figure.
I have no memory of that.
And Jeff was sitting right next to me when I said this at lunch. When we got into the car after work, he's like, did you hear Left 4 Dead 2 spending $25 million marketing the game, and that they've already done 300% the pre-orders of Left 4 Dead 1? I almost stopped the car and punched him.
You were very upset.
This is nothing new. This is not new at all.
But he's
Just-
bitching. He was just bitching about us not being interactive or talking at lunch. What incentive is there for me to talk if you don't fucking listen? If it doesn't fucking stick, it's like talking to a rock.
30 minutes ago, he made a joke from a Red versus Blue script that he read yesterday.
I have no memory of that. I think I probably only read my lines. I don't know.
Anyway,
Listen,
so Left 4
I'm
Dead
not-
2's pre-orders are doing well, and they're spending $25 million marketing
Which
it.
I think they said they spent $10 million on Left 4 Dead 1.
Yes.
So
I told you that a year ago, but I'm not going to hold that against you.
I don't buy that.
See, Jeff, this is why you're not the staffer that I have secret sexual relations with in the upstairs bedroom that's hidden here in our studio. What do you guys think about that?
Oh yeah, it's crazy, right?
About Letterman and his big reveal?
Oh man, that's crazy.
I'll tell you who doesn't think it's crazy.
Who?
His wife.
What?
His wife.
No. What's his name?
Roman Polanski.
Roman Polanski doesn't think it's crazy.
Oh shit! Speaking of Roman Polanski, did you guys hear that the
God damn it.
Swiss?
What was that? Something
Knocked
fell
the
down.
controller down the
Was it
couch
the
again.
Swedish government refused his parole?
Swiss.
Swiss, sorry. Same fucking country. Seriously.
No, it's not even. They're not even close.
Yeah,
It's just because
same.
of the SW thing. I did that with a guy who came visit us from Switzerland.
Stefan.
I introduced everybody he met that weekend. I said, "This is Stefan from Sweden," and he'd say Switzerland every single time. It just felt so bad.
I
Poor
felt
guy.
bad about the guy because at one point I got a chance to talk with him, one-on-one, and I was asking about Sweden because you told me he was from Sweden. And you said he's actually from Switzerland. I felt like the biggest American idiot,
Dude.
who has no idea what he's talking about.
That was the nicest guy I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, he was a pretty cool dude.
That guy was great.
So, but Roman Polanski has to be very happy that this whole thing with Letterman is going down because it diverts so much attention.
Does he
away
know
from him.
he's in prison in Switzerland? Does he know that this is going on?
I'm sure his lawyers are talking to him.
Does he think he might be in prison in Sweden?
He might be. Yeah.
I saw a headline a couple days ago after this whole Roman Polanski thing went down that looked like it was a headline right out of The Onion. It was something like Hollywood legend Woody Allen comes to the defense of Roman Polanski.
I don't know, right?
It was like, come on, really? Like Woody Allen talking about how Roman Polanski should be let free. And I was like, really? I mean, you're doing more harm than good.
And a bunch of directors came out, or just people in Hollywood and writers came out and started. I don't know if they signed a petition, but there's a list of people who say we support Roman Polanski. We think he should be freed. And now, as a result of that, my wife read this. I can't go see any movies.
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely. Some super respectable people too, like fucking like. Well, I was going to say Whoopi Goldberg. She's super respectable, but Scorsese's on that list too. It's like
it's embarrassing.
But it's pretty fucking embarrassing.
I know that Kate Winslet's husband is on that list.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
I don't know either. He's a writer, and now as a result of that, there's shrapnel on Kate Winslet, where my wife won't let me go see. Or she won't go to see Kate Winslet movies, which means I can't go see Kate Winslet movies.
Well, right, because anybody that would sign that petition is a pedophile, right?
I mean, I don't know, but my wife is. She's definitely up in arms about it.
So is he definitely guilty?
He admitted to it.
He admitted to it.
So why are people supporting that? Why are people
guilty.
even coming to his side?
Because the victim has since forgiven him.
What does it mean?
And
shit.
they say that his artistic talent is so great that we should be able to overlook it.
It's also, he's also well beyond the point. I think they're saying that he would have been in jail.
Yeah, but he never paid the jail time.
The point is, that's right.
Yes.
He fucking pled guilty and then ran.
Well, didn't he also have a deal? And I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Didn't he have a deal, and then they were going to go back on the deal after he was convicted? That he went through and he was going to do some kind of community service and maybe some time. And then he did that, and then when they said, well, maybe we're not going to do that, after he did that, then he left the country.
Oh, did he actually do it? I didn't think he'd actually ever done it.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I thought as soon as he got sentenced, he took off.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think he should just be jailed for the rest of his life?
Yeah, sure.
And he was also in Rush Hour 3, which was a terrible movie, so...
Well, there you go.
They should add time for that.
But it does show the two different approaches that you can take to something like this. Now, they're not equivalent.
Absolutely not, but you're right.
But Letterman telling the audience about it, you hear it from him, and now he's facing the music day one. He doesn't have to spend his whole life with this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where if he'd paid this guy $2 million and actually done that, the guy would constantly keep coming back.
Yeah, that $2 million wouldn't last long.
It's also a little different. Letterman didn't do anything illegal.
That's what I'm saying.
Polanski did. Yeah.
I'm saying it's not equivalent, but it's just
totally
the approach of owning up to your mistakes.
Yeah.
You know someone's in trouble when Wikipedia prevents you from editing that page. I'm just looking at
that was
laptop.
that was a stand-up thing Letterman did. Though.
I found out
the shitty thing he did, but he really,
I found
faced the music.
I found out about that
cool.
Letterman thing in a weird way.
Stand-up's the right word, but
a bunch of people I went to high school with, request friendship with me on Facebook, and I normally approve it. And I have like this special list for news feeds from people that I don't really talk to, but I went to high school with. And the day of the Letterman taping, I was looking at that news feed, and one of the dudes I went to high school with, whose name was Chris, had an update that was like, I just landed in New York. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm watching a taping of the Late Show with David Letterman. And then like an hour later, he had another Facebook update that was like, holy shit, you need to watch David Letterman tonight. It's he reveals a sex scandal. And I was like, and that's how I found out that's how I knew to watch Letterman that night, was because of the status update there on a social network.
do you know who his guest was that night?
It was Woody Harrelson, right?
Woody Harrelson and Kim Kardashian.
See, I would wish I'd seen that. I wish I'd have seen Woody Harrelson come out after that and been so what's going on?
I watched it, and they start off, David Letterman says, oh, I hear you got married recently. I always thought you were married. How's that going? He says, I always thought you always struck me as a married type. I always thought you were married. Woody Harrelson looks at him and goes, I thought you were married too. There's a kind of an awkward moment or two.
Wow, Woody, man, he opened up both barrels there.
Speaking of Woody Harrelson, he's been launched back into stardom because of this Zombieland movie.
You think so?
I think so.
I think he's about the same level that Woody Harrelson's always been at.
No, it seems like he's got a little bump going on.
He's got some heat.
I mean, this isn't like an Oscar role or anything like that.
Name the last movie Woody Harrelson was in before this.
I guess if you're asking me that, I would say The People versus Larry Flint. That's the first thing I think of.
He was in a movie called The Grand. He did a lot of straight to DVD, straight to video, indie films.
I'd say the last movie he was in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, he was.
Oh
good
yeah,
in
he
that.
was.
He was
Yeah.
good in that.
He's definitely on the upswing then.
Yeah, My wife was always a very big Woody Harrelson fan, so I've got a big chip on my shoulder when it comes to
Is
Woody
that
Harrelson.
what it is?
Yeah.
Is that why
she likes him a lot?
I'd like.
You should shave your head.
A little too much. She likes balding dudes, like older balding dudes. Now
I thought
she's
she liked younger guys.
Now she's making the shift where she's starting to like
She likes Zac Efron.
yeah, Zac Efron and the dude from Twilight.
Jesus. So now you got to turn gay and shave your head.
I guess so. And
We
pout.
were hanging out with your wife the other day, and you were talking to me about Sex Drive, and you showed a clip. I hadn't seen it yet at that point, and your wife got mad at me that I found it funny. She was actually upset with me that I thought the clip you showed me was funny.
There was a
I
really
couldn't figure it out.
There was a really weird thing that happened the other day where somehow I ended up with Jason at your house when you guys weren't there, and we were babysitting Millie. Somehow I don't know how that happened. Where Jason and I were just hanging out on a Saturday night, babysitting Millie
It's
at your
true.
house. And my wife came over to pick me up for dinner, and she walked in, and Jason and I were watching David Letterman's Confession on YouTube, and he's funny, and we were laughing about it. My wife walked in, and she said, "What are you laughing about?" And I said, "I'm laughing at this Letterman thing." She goes, "Oh, that's real funny. That's real funny." Man, that kind of...
Was she genuinely mad?
Yeah. She I don't know if you've ever run into this before. Women take adultery much more seriously than guys do. Much more seriously. They like a lot of stories, fictional stories about
Vampires.
adultery. Yeah. No, not about vampires. But like all their stories are about adultery and people having affairs, and things. And like my wife watches Mad Men, and all that stuff is on there, and it doesn't really bother her. But as soon as it happens in real life, watch out.
It's not as though guys are always to blame.
Watch out is all I'm saying. Just watch out. Be careful.
Bernie's not allowed to leave the house now.
Before we move away from the subject,
Letterman's on off limits. Kate Winslet's off limits.
You're pretty much down to Lifetime and we.
I could probably actually watch now a Roman Polanski movie before I could watch a Kate Winslet movie. As weird as that is.
what do you think of Zombieland?
I mean, I thought it was a zombie movie. I didn't think it was nearly as good as Shaun of the Dead. And I'll just tell you this: my main problem with Zombieland is there's no zombies in it. There's no. If you're gonna have a zombie apocalypse where 6 billion people suddenly turn into zombies, you're gonna see some zombies. And it's not until and I don't want to ruin anything. It's not until like the last 15 minutes of that movie that there's a massive horde of zombies.
Yeah.
And most they ever run into is 2, maybe 3 zombies.
And they talk about themselves as the last humans.
Right, that there's nobody else
So
left alive.
In theory, there's 6 billion zombies somewhere.
Right. They're just nowhere where these people go. This is not a spoiler, and if he does spoil, I promise we'll edit it out. But what is the scene before the last scene, the climactic scene? What is the scene that has the most amount of zombies in it?
It's probably where they're driving through.
An urban downtown area.
Yeah.
And in an
There's
urban
maybe-
downtown area...
there's maybe 9.
Major metropolitan area? Yeah. There's not even that many. There's maybe 6 zombies in that scene.
Really?
And they all come from behind camera, and it's like, ugh, there's just 6.
Yeah, maybe all the zombies were just like slightly off camera.
Everybody's talking about how great that movie is.
I know, it's so
I was
weird.
playing. I was playing
Every
Left 4
single person.
I was playing Left 4 Dead last night, and everyone I was playing with in pickup games was talking about it.
It was not that good.
I don't
It
have
was
any plans
funny.
to
There was
see
some
it.
funny
I'll
moments,
see it on DVD, I guess.
There's one thing that I hate about every zombie movie, though, is that characters will just make annoying bullshit decisions, and it just makes me mad.
Yeah.
Every time it's like,
Yeah.
why are you doing that, you dopey bitch?
It is a comedy, but some of the stuff they do in this movie is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially when they set up some of the characters as being very practical and understanding. I like the whole zombie plan thing, because we made that PSA. And there's kind of a character that's... His whole thing is that he's got zombie plans. And that keeps coming back in the movie. But I would go see it. I mean, it's a good movie. It's funny. There's parts of it that are funny, and I like zombies.
There's some great moments. They did a lot of stuff really well.
Yeah, there's a very funny thing that happens probably a little over halfway through the movie. That's great. So, yeah, and I think everyone's kind of talking about that without really talking about it.
I don't know if it's worth. I don't know if any movie's worth like the $60 for the babysitter and that whole thing. Going to for my wife and I to
call
go to
up
the
Bernie
movie.
and Jason. They'll be over.
Yeah, that's true. For my wife and I to go to the movie, it's like $100.
Yeah, just next time a talk show host has a major scandal, I'll somehow end up
Come
at your
over.
house to get yelled at by my wife.
Thank you for babysitting my daughter. by the way.
No, he babysat Jason, didn't
He
he?
had Jason who was babysitting my kid.
I'll tell you what, man. There's nobody you'll meet who's better with kids than Jason.
Yeah,
He is-
Jason and Dan both.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's something about Jason and kids.
Yep.
I mean, he's so good with kids.
He's just super laid back.
He's like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" But I had a really fun experience being at Jeff's house because after I went through the dressers a couple times, I got kind of bored, and I was looking for something to do. Jeff does not have cable at his house. He essentially, you don't have television.
Yeah.
You have monitors in your house that Xboxes are plugged into, and then you have a Roku player, which I don't know why you have that anymore. Now that Netflix is on
It has
Xbox.
Amazon.
Because it has Amazon.
Oh, it
Direct
has Amazon, right?
And MLB TV.
Jeff has a dedicated Netflix player, essentially.
Yeah.
Which were out before the service hit the Xbox. So he has no TV. And so you have to get your television or your media some other way. And it was no problem. I mean, I went over there and I forgot I had my password already set up for your network at your house. I sat down. I was watching essentially Letterman on demand.
Yeah.
And Jason was streaming over the web. He was streaming the Oklahoma game versus Miami.
Yeah, Miami won that game.
And Miami won that game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's shaping up to be a really weird season. By
Very
the way.
bizarre season.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What?
It's a sports section in the
I know. University of Houston was having a really weird run there, but then they lost to UTEP, which I don't understand. They beat Texas Tech and then lost to UTEP, who Texas beat, I think 64-7 the
something
previous
like
week.
that.
So,
But yeah, you're absolutely right. I got rid of TV like a year and a half ago, and thanks to sites like Hulu and Xbox Live's streaming Netflix, I haven't skipped a beat. Hasn't affected me at all.
it is really. Somebody posted on Dig recently. They posted the AT&T commercials, which are "You Will." Do you remember the "You Will" campaign?
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you watch them?
Yeah.
And how eerily accurate these things were. They ran in the mid '90s, early '90s,
early to mid '90s.
and it was all about: have you ever done this? Have you ever borrowed a book from 1,000 miles away? You will, and it shows somebody like looking over a book on their computer screen.
Fuck, I remember that.
And almost all of them were accurate.
Yeah.
Of course, being AT&T, they had a little bit of centricity in that they had a phone booth with a video phone in it, and that's
And
the one
there's
thing.
like, have you ever sent a fax from the beach? It's like, email, yeah, sure, but
Well, that's essentially a fax.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a document. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
have you ever sent a document from the beach? And it shows a guy with a tablet, and it's just obviously this mocked up tablet, and he sends it from the beach and then goes off to go scallop or clam or whatever he's going to do.
he went to go scallop or clam?
Yeah.
Did he go crab afterwards?
No, that's a real thing. You never heard of going clamming?
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, wow. You can use that
It's a
like
verb,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Jesus.
I clammed.
That's retarded.
Gross.
That sounds disgusting and stupid.
I think you only
That's
know
'cause
that
you
if
don't
you've
like
ever
seafood.
lived up in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Northeastern thing. Yeah, but that was accurate. And then I saw this crazy thing. There's these two things that have come out in Photoshop recently that have just blown my mind, which are the contextual scaling. Have you seen that?
No.
Actually, there's a lot of stuff with photos that's going to drive me crazy. It's like imagine a landscape where there's a mountain on the right side, and then a big blue expanse of sky, and then a house on the right side.
Okay.
Okay. Contextual scaling is if you take the bottom right and you drag it, it just removes all the non-pertinent data
Oh, yeah, I've seen that
from
before.
the photo. So you're scaling. You'll have to post a video of this.
There were some commercials. I think there were Lexus commercials like this that came out, or Toyota commercials that came out about 6 months ago with this.
So instead of shrinking everything uniformly, it just gets rid of more of the sky in the middle. So you keep the house and you keep the thing and it just moves them closer together.
Oh, whoa.
Really?
It's very bizarre. Then I saw another thing where they were taking images uploaded to Flickr and they were reconstructing buildings in 3D and just using everybody's angles from, say, the Cathedral at Notre Dame,
Oh, yeah.
and they
Yeah.
were just
I've
rebuilding
seen
it
that
on the
video.
fly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty cool.
Now,
I've shown you that before. I think that was an offshoot of Sea Dragon when that first started.
yeah, this is all older stuff,
Yeah.
and the contextual scaling is too. I saw this thing just this morning where they have software where you take a blank white frame and you say, you draw with your mouse, you draw a dude, and you draw a little man, and then you write next to the man, you write groom, and then you draw a little cat, and you write leopard, and then you say desert. It goes out on the web, and it makes a montage. It makes a Photoshop from your sketch of a groom in the desert with a leopard.
Well, like
That's
from
fucking
real
nuts.
photos.
And it looks, I mean, this is obviously a demo that they mocked up
Yeah.
themselves. It's frightening. Absolutely frightening how good these things look.
Really?
Yeah, it's like Scribblenauts on the internet with the reality.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember that one that you were talking about where it compiles all the pictures of the buildings. It was like showing all the individual pictures, and one of them it took a picture of like some dude standing next to a poster of that building.
Yeah,
and
he was standing in front of a poster of the Notre Dame Cathedral.
yeah, and it bunged that in because I guess it recognized it. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then they could reconstruct it. You could move through it like in a 3D space based on all these photos that it had in
What
its
is
its
the
database.
What's the most photographed thing on Earth?
Paris Hilton.
The most photographed thing on Earth would probably be the sky.
Hello.
That's. I don't know.
It's kind of like the question: what's the biggest organ in your body?
Skin.
Yeah, right.
The dong.
But that's not in my...
Yeah, but it doesn't count. But it doesn't really count, right?
Why doesn't skin count?
It's just kind of it's one of those like trivia trick questions. I mean, how can you say what's the most photographed thing of all time?
Surely you could tell by the number of photos that were taken of it on the internet.
Yeah, I'd say the sky then. It's in all the fucking photos outdoors. There you go. Electrons. That's the Gus and I got in this. Gus and I went through and read on YouTube. What was the
Oh my
It was
god.
a response.
Oh my god.
Last week we talked about the Bel Air that crashed with the Malibu.
Yeah.
I hope you guys saw that because that was an incredible video.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
The slow-mo.
yeah, you weren't in the podcast, but you saw the video.
Yeah, I saw it.
And we read a YouTube comment where a guy said it's an unfair test because I'm gonna try to quote this guy because I
don't know if you can quote this guy.
I don't want to misquote him and misrepresent his,
Stupidity.
his amazing grasp of science. He said, "We all know that over time, all materials lose electrons, which makes them weaker. So the Bel Air would have lost more electrons since it's 50 years old. Therefore, it would have been a weaker car. Therefore, not a fair test."
Wow.
They should have built a new 1959 Bel Air
using materials they would have had at that time.
right, because it doesn't have electron loss. Duh.
Through normal static things, just lose electrons over time.
Fucking idiot.
We're all just shedding electrons all day long
Yep, just tons of radiation everywhere.
and not getting them back. So
That's why as you get older, you get lighter. Duh. Everyone knows that.
it's why you get a more positive outlook on life. Because you have less electrons.
Less negativity in your body.
It was amazing where all the shit ended up in that car, though. I remember talking to a guy on set once. He was a stunt driver, and he's crashed a lot of cars. And one of the first crashes he did, he the airbags went off, and apparently you get a lot of heat from airbags. It burnt his hands. He was like, "Oh, it burnt all my arms." And then he looked down. He's like, "Shit, did I piss myself?" And it turned out that the headlight fluid container somehow made it into the car onto his lap.
The headlight fluid container, really?
Yeah. And leaked on him.
That's amazing. I can't believe it went all the way from the headlight fluid container went from all the way into the hood into his lap.
Headlight fluid? Did you just say headlight fluid?
What are you talking about?
There's no such thing.
What do you think headlight fluid is? Do you really think there's headlight fluid? How is that even possible that you think that, Gavin? I mean, really?
The lights are dim. Better put some more fluid in there.
Gotta top off the headlights.
You're a fucking moron.
I've been watching way too much Red vs. Blue.
No,
I mean the wiper juice. What was that stuff
The
called?
wiper juice. Oh my god.
This is the dumbest moment in the history of our company.
I'm so
Alright,
glad
alright,
we're
okay.
recording this.
Oh man.
Oh god.
See, in previous podcasts, I always get made out to be stupid because someone will tell a story stupid. Okay, I admit that was the fucking dumbest thing I've ever said. But you know what I mean, right?
Oh, it's metric headlight fluid? Is that what you mean?
It's a good job. I'm going home. I'm gonna get a flight today. I'm gonna leave.
I kept waiting for you to make sense.
I thought, why is everyone just quietly looking at me like I'm insane?
I was trying so desperately not to laugh because I wanted you to finish. I wanted you to finish.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's your fucking show that's got that stuck in my head. Oh,
My face hurts from laughing.
Now you know.
Oh my god.
and he got his elbow grease all over the seat.
The headlight fluid joke is actually not something that we made up.
No, I know.
for-
It's one of those things like sky hooks and all that.
Yeah, and a box of curveballs.
Flight line.
I'm well aware. Okay, fuck you guys.
You're well
I just
aware.
Obviously,
You know what?
Obviously,
you don't
are
get
not.
to use the expression "I'm well aware" anymore.
That's off limits to
You
you.
lost-
You've lost
Oh
that.
my god, I can't believe. Oh,
You've lost your license.
So
what am I
it
gonna
was.
do?
So now you're gonna backpedal and say it was windshield wiper fluid. You don't think maybe the guy was fucking with you?
No.
Did he tell you headlight fluid?
He definitely didn't say headlight fluid.
Thank God he wasn't allergic to headlight fluid.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Man, I don't.
Oh, I'm gonna take a breather. Ooh,
yeah,
man.
God.
Jesus.
Man alive. That was fucking funny. Good lord, Gavin. Good lord.
I don't know where we can go from there.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know what you're talking about.
I'm tempted to just end the podcast now. I mean, Jesus Christ,
Good
Gav.
Lord.
Oh.
I'm gonna try to use that Photoshop thing and draw a sketch of headlight fluid. and see
Way
what
to
it
go
comes
out
up
with a bang, Gavin.
We're really sorry. We're gonna miss
Man,
you.
I used to be a very equal member of this podcast, you know. Then Angry Gus died, and now I just became like.
And now you're
dumb
talking about-
idiot who's
now you're
talking
talking about headlight fluid.
Now real Gavin came out.
All right, let's give Gavin a chance to redeem himself. We'll talk about something Gavin and I found and we were talking about while we were in Seattle. I'm going to read you this story real quick. I'll read you the opening to it. This is, woman dies at 99 years of age, leaves behind 1,400 descendants.
Man, that woman liked to fuck. Man, she got it on.
Was she hot?
She had 12 kids, and her 12 kids had an average of 12 kids.
Wow.
She may be the most successful woman on the planet in terms of what a female has to do. You know,
Wait.
in the- in the
How many
animal
descendants
kingdom.
did she leave?
1,400.
Because if 12 kids have 12 kids, that's 144.
Like this, how it starts. Krzyzewski, I apologize to this dead woman if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, got married to her cousin just before turning 19.
Nice.
The couple brought 7 sons and 4 daughters into the world. That's 11. She brought up her children to see her children as a great joy. Her children subsequently adopted her outlook and produced 150 children of their own. So those 11 kids had 150 children. So
Okay.
more than she even had. These 150 children continued the commitment to be fruitful and multiply, and themselves had no less than 1,000 children.
Where do you have?
So she had 1,400 direct descendants.
So they have to have.
So
their,
then the 150 had like 7 each.
yeah, they're kind of scaling back.
Right.
So she's and she's from the Pacific Northwest. You said.
Pacific Northwest.
Oh,
No.
I guess you guys were in Seattle when.
Oh,
you
we
read
were in
the
Seattle
story.
when we talked about it. She was a Jerusalemite, so she's from Jerusalem, I assume.
That's
Jerusalemite? Is that what they are?
One of I can't even say it. Jerusalemite.
dude.
Rachel Chergevsky's grandchildren says with pride, Grandma knew all of her descendants.
That sounds very
That must
derogatory.
Christmas must fucking suck for that. Lady.
No, they do Secret Santa for sure.
I don't think they celebrate Christmas.
They're
in
from Jerusalem. What the hell is wrong with you people?
Hey, Grandma, for Christmas, I got a box of headlight fluid.
I got a dreidel for Christmas.
I'm
It's like
sorry.
the stupidest podcast ever.
Hanukkah must suck for them. Well, they have 12 days of Christmas, right?
Yes, they have 12 days of Christmas.
That's how you celebrate Hanukkah. You have 12 days of Christmas.
They get 12 days of presents. And
Santa
shit.
Claus is very tired.
Yeah. I wonder if there's anything intelligent between Alabama and Britain. Is there anywhere?
Isn't that true though? Don't in
Yes, but they don't call it 12 days of Christmas.
Oh, well,
they call it Hanukkah.
12
and
days
it's
of
8 days.
Hanukkah.
It's 8 days. 8 days.
sure.
I think,
Just remember the Adam Sandler movie, 8 Crazy Nights?
I
or
think,
whatever?
I think technically it's actually 8 nights is what they say.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, it's a lot of fucking presents.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But in the animal kingdom, that is pretty much the function of a female, right? Just to produce and
Just to produce. That's all females do.
I would say I'm going to try to interpret what he's saying here.
yeah.
Save him from having to go home and
From
see my
a
wife tonight.
Darwinian perspective, just speaking on an evolutionary scale, that woman is a success. She
Sure.
has more descendants, not just women, anybody. That's,
Yeah, it applies to anything.
anything. Yeah, like if the guy who has 10 kids out of wedlock, that guy is actually successful.
Yeah, that's the most...
He's a
He has spread his genes across like a wide gene pool.
exactly right. And so you don't normally think of a guy who's got 10 illegitimate children as being a success story, but actually from a biological.
Yeah, I was just
and-
speaking from like an animal
He's
kingdom
hedged
point
his
of view.
bets
Yeah.
on a few different horses.
So yeah, 1,400 direct descendants. I mean, that's just crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, where do they have the funeral? Do they have to like rent a stadium?
Yeah, it's like the Superdome.
Well, I mean, let's apply some math here. Imagine if every single person on the planet within, I'll call it 60 years, 70 years, if they turned into 1,400 people. I mean, we'd have 1,400 times 6 billion in just 60 years. That's a frightening idea.
It's fucked up. People shouldn't have that many kids.
What we're seeing now, I think,
I'd be interested to see the most successful out of those 1,400 people and the least successful person out of those 1,400 people. Like one of them's a serial killer, right?
how would you even rate it?
yeah, and
how
then the
would-
other one would be like a multi-billionaire.
I could rate it.
You could be a serial
Fuck it.
killer where you just kill your cousins, and you'd probably you'd never get done.
But then you wouldn't have anyone to marry.
God, what?
Apparently not.
I
Right?
mean, come on.
That's a good point. Jesus.
So is that that's okay? You can marry your cousin? I mean, genetically, that's okay?
What are you asking me for?
Sorry, my eyes just naturally gravitated towards you. I mean, can you do that?
I don't think that's good. I think your chances are okay of everything working out okay, but you do have a heightened chance of problems, of genetic defects.
I read a while back that it's mostly actually misinformation and social stigma. That there's really not that much danger to it.
For the most part, you're safe, but it's still slightly more dangerous than a non-cousin.
Interesting.
Which is a shame because I don't have any good-looking cousins. Not a looker among them.
Most of my cousins are dudes. We have 12 people in my generation with all the cousins, and 11 of them are guys. We have a lot of guys in my family.
Any of them good looking?
The guys?
Yeah.
Not really.
I have about 100 cousins.
You have 100 cousins?
Yep.
Like first cousins?
Yep.
Really?
My mother has 10 brothers and sisters, and my dad has 4. 4, yeah.
See, I think that's what we see in this country more often, is that we have bigger above us. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Do any of those 10 brothers and sisters of your mother, do any of them have a family of 10 people?
No, but they give it a good try. They'll have families like 8, 9.
Yeah. But diminishing.
Yeah.
I mean, this lady, some of her kids outpaced her.
You find this is very typical in developed countries where, as time goes on, they have a shrinking population, which is a big problem in countries like Japan now.
It is.
Where that country's not going to exist in 200 years unless they start fucking soon.
Yeah, they have. I wonder, is Japan big for immigration? Do people immigrate to Japan typically?
I don't think so.
Really?
That's a very xenophobic country.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Do they have tough immigration laws?
Yeah, I don't know what their immigration laws like, but not a very welcoming place.
How'd you learn the word xenophobic?
I learned it from the video game Xenophobe.
From Xenophobe. That's where I learned it too.
Yeah.
I called it xenophobe, and my dad corrected me.
Oh, really?
I love Xenophobe. I think I used to play it in the arcade a lot. It was weird because it was. I don't know if I've seen another game like that where you have like 4 players working together co-op, and it's just like one CRT that's like divided into sections.
I want to say there's another game, but I can't remember what it was now. It was like these big slivers.
Right. It was
like
like a quarter of the screen, slivered out.
It was a split screen video game.
Yeah.
And
but I was all on one screen. It was weird.
Yeah, it was.
Instead of cutting it like in Halo where you have like quadrants, it's just like long strips. You know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to describe it to.
Yeah, it was still
You're
split
right.
screen, but it was split vertically, and they never went to quadrant.
Vertically.
Yeah, they said long horizontal stripes, which you had because you were in hallways,
right?
And it was kind of a side view thing, and then you could end up on each other's in the same section of hallway,
right,
as other people. So, yeah,
Have you ever seen this game, Gav?
No, I'm fucking confused though. I thought I knew how the thing was split, and then Bernie said some stuff, and now I'll put
it in the link dump. It was really interesting.
Okay.
I don't know if that means I explained it properly or not.
Yeah, he explained it really well.
If it confused Gavin. Yes, sexlessness in Japan is sparking population crisis.
They have government incentives for people to have children now, and like a lot of big companies are increasing like maternity and paternity leave and giving people bonuses if they go out and have kids.
And man, less kids seems like not a problem.
Because the problem is that their pension and retirement fund is shrinking because there's less people in the workforce and people are getting older. So it's really fucking up the financial system.
I don't know if Japan has the problems we've had in the past though, but we've got that in America too, where the baby boomers are such a huge generation, and they're going to weigh down. If we still had pensions, very few people have pensions anymore. They all have 401ks, which are gone now too. But it seems like there's less people beneath them, but people are living longer, so we just need to move up the retirement age so that there's more generations beneath them that are earning wages and to take care of that.
Yeah, I guess we should.
It bothers the hell out of me to know that we're heading into stuff like this where it's going to be a major crisis for us, just like we all knew the housing thing was going to be a major crisis, and we didn't do anything. Yep. And here it comes, and what are we going to do about it?
What was the main response from your thread about how to improve the drunk tank? Did people like the long ones or the short ones?
There were a lot of suggestions.
People seem to like you getting mad at me.
Yeah, people like me getting mad. People seemed okay with the length, but as far as suggestions for improvements, a lot of people suggested contradictory things. Like, I'll give you an example. One person said that we should have like set segments, like have a segment dedicated to gaming, a section dedicated to films, a section dedicated to our website, but we should keep it all totally spontaneous.
Right.
It's like
I think we kind of do that anyway.
Yeah, but it's like, how do you keep it spontaneous but then make it more rigid at the same time? and then force it. I don't know. Didn't make sense to me.
You just described my marriage.
Lots of rigid things.
No, not exactly. Oh, here's a great one. I like to read stuff from the news as well, and I've had this one bookmarked for 2 weeks, waiting for Gavin to come back. A recent study determined that women were to rate their lovers from all different nationalities, and they determined that German men are the worst lovers in the world because
very efficient.
Women say they are too smelly. I don't know why they specifically said that.
So all Germans are stinky.
And they
Is that
were
what they're
voted the world's worst lovers. And would anyone care to guess who the second worst lovers in the world were?
The British?
saying? Come on, UK.
British men for being too lazy in bed. So, Gavin, would you like to respond to your second place ranking?
Nope. I have
Second
nothing to
place
say
from
on
the
this
bottom.
subject.
He can't be bothered.
I can't be bothered to... Too lazy to talk about this.
What was ranked number one?
Germans were.
No,
best.
You mean best? I don't think they ranked that.
Oh.
I think Spanish men, actually. I think Spanish men were
I
rated as
like
best.
to also point out that I'm not actually English and I'm more Italian, so...
Your accent
I
could have fooled
reckon-
me. Where have you lived your whole life?
Italian men ranked third highest. So you are second lowest and third highest.
Fuck yeah, that's it. That's
I
kind
guess
of a
that-
middle, I guess.
Yeah, that averages
Which
out
is
somewhere
pretty
in the
much
middle.
how I live my life.
How'd American dudes rank?
Let's see it. This is actually from a British source, so I don't think they saw the need to go out of their way to mention the U.S. ranking.
They didn't want to put the colonies in there?
No, yeah. They don't recognize us. Maybe they included us in British because they haven't recognized that we've broken away yet. Like people in the comments were asking, how did the Americans do? How did the Americans do? So, you want to know how the Americans did? Try one. Find out for yourself. But that's, I mean, who are the women who are going around sleeping with all the men on the planet?
I don't know, but they sound like hot sluts.
We know one who had fucking 12 kids.
Yeah, right. I think she stayed, to her village for her lovers, though. I don't think
Literally her village.
Yeah, quite literally. Like she just walked across the house.
She asked her cousin what he was doing.
Didn't Griffin make out with some English dudes and say that they were the worst kisses that she'd ever...
Yeah, Griffin's made out with a lot of nationalities, and according to her, British men are by far the worst.
Wow.
Worst maker outers?
Just like in general with sexy type stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah. She says they're very disappointing,
Disappointing.
like universally in every
wow.
avenue.
You hearing this?
I'm hearing it.
Why do you suppose that is?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. That
You want to try out?
I'd like to think she's not an expert, but she probably is.
So we found this really weird thing. It's not going to be applicable to anybody else who's listening to this podcast, but I thought you guys would find it interesting.
Okay.
There's a new service that is, and this is not a paid plug, but I found it interesting. There's a new service in San Antonio, Dallas, and Austin, which is close to where we live.
I've heard of those places.
And it's called whiteglove.com. And you pay a monthly subscription fee to it. It's a healthcare service. And then a nurse practitioner or a doctor will come to your house for $35 a visit. And they will do blood work, I assume for an extra cost. And they will just do tests for strep and flu. And they will actually bring you medications and stuff like Gatorade and crackers and things when you're sick.
That's
so
great.
you don't have to get up and go to the doctor.
That's great.
That's really
So-
cool. So it's like a house call service.
So it's
Anytime
$35 a call, but then you have to pay like a monthly fee. Or
I think it's
something else?
$80 a month, which would be about $1,000 a year for a family. For an individual, it's only $35 a month.
So if you were at home and you were too lazy to go get crackers and Gatorade, you could just call a doctor and pretend to be dehydrated.
I guess you could for $35 if you really wanted to do that. You could probably also call like Peapod or whatever.
Depends
it
on
is.
how lazy you are. Like Gavin over there, for instance.
Hey, fatigue is a real symptom. You don't know.
You mentioned Peapod. I saw something weird. And this is I don't know anything about this. So I'm asking you guys if you know anything. When we were up in Seattle for PAX, one of you were in the car with me, I think.
I was
and
always in the car
We
with
saw
you.
that van that said Amazon Fresh.
Yeah, that was me.
Do you know what is that?
It
It
looked
looked like a produce truck.
Yeah.
It had the Amazon logo, like Amazon. It said Fresh in green.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't know. It sounds like a grocery delivery
I wonder if
service.
they're doing grocery delivery up in Seattle.
That would make sense. That's where you'd want to do it, probably.
I should look into that.
Am I crazy? Why hasn't that taken off?
I used it once, like 8 years ago in Austin.
They all fail.
And that one was gone
Well,
a couple months
Yeah,
after
you
I used
mentioned
it.
Peapod. I think I used that in Houston when I lived there back in '97 or whatever.
What is that? Just food delivery, like grocery
Yeah.
stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
It's pretty big in the UK. People use it all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Waitrose Deliver and Tesco Direct, whatever it's called.
I saw a soccer team that had Waitrose on it. I didn't know I thought it was some independent little grocery store you worked for.
No, big chain. It's the upper class supermarkets of the UK.
It's
like
like
Whole Foods?
You like Whole Foods, yeah.
I guess so.
Well, I don't know if Whole Foods is considered upper class, but more like
Expensive.
Expensive class.
is this organic?
Let's go to Whole Foods for lunch.
Do you guys
Dude,
buy?
I'd like to, actually.
Do you guys buy organic stuff?
Yeah, I do.
Nope, mine's all chemical. I don't
Yeah.
eat it if it doesn't come out of a tube.
I don't care one way or another.
You ate a tin of chicken the other day.
It was good.
It looked and smelled like
Oh
cat
god,
food.
that smelled
But
so,
it was
so
fucking
bad.
disgusting.
Fucking good. I was like, you gave me it to try. I was like, it looks gross.
Of
I'm not
course,
gonna
it
do that.
was
And I
good.
was like,
It was genetically engineered.
You
to be
opened
good.
it, and I thought you had actually opened a can of food to feed the cat.
yeah.
did
Well,
too.
the cat for sure did wake up and start like sniffing around me while I was eating it.
It's good.
And Joe's the
Oh.
laziest cat ever.
It's just it's
He
a
might be
quick,
British.
it's a quick little lunch. It's chicken breast. It's not anything. You're looking at me weird. It's
I'm
chicken.
not looking at you weird.
Canning is like the oldest technology on earth.
I'm not
it's,
looking at
it's-
you weird at
It's
all.
not
The
some
oldest
bizarre
technology.
thing.
It smelled fucking disgusting.
I did smell disgusting.
It's delicious. You eat vegetables out of a can sometimes, don't you?
Me?
Don't
Yeah.
smell like
No.
that.
I don't ever eat vegetables out of a can. Why would I do that?
You don't?
You don't eat canned
No.
food?
I eat canned vegetables.
I don't. I eat frozen vegetables.
You eat Coke out of a can.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Oh,
dude.
my
These guys, you got-
That's awesome.
Your favorite brand of headlight fluid comes in a can, doesn't it?
Also true.
Hey, 60 Minutes did a piece on racism in America, and essentially what they did was they dressed a woman up in traditional Middle Eastern clothes.
Sure.
Like what are you talking? What are we talking
It's
about?
not a burqa.
Okay.
Not a burqa, but she was wearing just a headscarf. I don't know exactly what you
Okay.
call that garment.
No, I was just wondering if like they'd gone like all the way to burqa. Or...
No, just
Okay.
she was wearing just a headscarf, and she was at a counter, and then another paid actor behind the counter refused her service, kind of ridiculously. Like said, "Hey, I got to protect my customers. You get out of here. I can't serve you while you're wearing that." And so the reason why they did this was to see everyone else's reaction in the store.
Sure.
And some people were, like, right on, buddy. I'm glad to hear somebody saying stuff like that. And that was the first couple that they showed.
I hope they showed those people's faces.
They did. Well, they did the first guy, and who actually appeared on camera and was talking to them and saying, yeah, I got no problem with it. He can serve whoever he wants to or not serve whoever he wants to. I'm proud for him for standing up for what he believes in. And then another guy who was crazy, and he just got in a car and they blurred his face because they didn't get a release from him or whatever. Or an implied release, I guess. But then there was a bunch of people, and you could draw the line, and I noticed, I thought, wow, some of these people are super rural, and some of these people are business level, and some of them look like just like kind of people we see around here in Austin, like the younger people who look like they go to college. Mm-hmm. And it was a really weird, diverse mix of people. And I thought, wow, this is actually really representative of where we are in Austin. It was done at the Czech Stop up in West Texas.
No way.
Yeah. And this is, for reference, this is halfway between Austin and Dallas. When we drive up there's a little bakery called the Czech Stop, but spelled like Czechoslovakia, because there was a lot of immigrants that ended up there. And they did it in one of those bakeries.
Yeah, I think we've talked about the Czech Stop in journals before on the website.
Awesome kolaches.
Awesome kolaches.
I think
Yeah.
they closed the grill down, though, didn't
Yeah.
they?
They're the best ham and cheese
They
sandwich
did
in the
have-
world.
They
it
did.
was
It's awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah, but I thought it was really weird because if you want to see what it's like to actually live where we live, you can watch this video because there's some older people that are definitely, you can tell, like the locals from West Texas who are more rural. Mm-hmm. And then you can tell there's a guy from Dallas wearing a button down who's on his way back through. And then there's just a bunch of people from Austin, like young girls. And there's this dude who looks a lot like Dan going, he goes, fuck you, buddy, to the guy behind the counter. He goes, I'm out of here. He flips the guy off and he goes, fuck you, you're not going to serve her, I'm getting out of here. And I thought, that looks just like Dan.
That's awesome.
Now, that's what Dan would do, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan would probably dump over the guy's counter, for all I know. But I thought it was interesting.
That is
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why they chose, like, if there was a reason why they chose the Czech Stop or that location.
They had like a real world woman who said she experiences racism every day, and she was going to college in Texas, is what
Okay.
they said. So they must have been down there to interview her, and then they just set up a place that was, I mean, West Texas. This is in the middle of nowhere, essentially.
Yeah.
It's a little bit north of Waco, which is not exactly, it's not exactly the breadbasket of America, Waco,
Waco,
Texas.
No.
And so they set it up there. I'm sure they're TV producers. They want to get a good sampling of different reactions. They're not going to do that in downtown, Manhattan and hope to get a reaction. Be like, right on, buddy. They're not going to get that. So,
I almost went to college in Waco.
did you?
You're going to go to Baylor?
I almost went to Baylor.
Did you really? Wow.
It's the, at least it was when I was in the Army. I was stationed in Fort Hood, and I had a friend who was dating a girl from Waco, and she was a counselor. And according to her, she counseled college students. Baylor was the anorexia bulimia capital of the United States.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Maybe I should have gone.
Do you know why religious cults end up in Waco?
Why?
It is.
I feel like it's a joke.
No, it is the only city in the Western Hemisphere on the same longitude. Is it latitude or longitude? It goes across. Latitude as Jerusalem that has a river running through it.
Huh. Are you playing Doodle Jump?
Maybe.
During the podcast?
Come on!
I was trying to beat your score.
You fucking asshole.
I'm listening.
Is
It's
that-
one of
that's-
those things where you can play mindlessly.
That's really interesting, Murray.
I'm going to have to fact check that. But that's
Yeah.
what I was told. That's why a lot of religious
It's-
people end up there, because it's considered to be
That's bizarre.
Jerusalem of the Western Hemisphere.
Man, it's like a mini Utah there too. Like every single person in Waco is blonde.
It's weird.
At least around the college.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, I went on a tour there, and it's an interesting place.
Yeah.
Interesting place.
There were I used to try to go there and pick up girls, because I was 19, 20 and single, and I was about 40 minutes away from Waco. It was closer to go to Waco than go to Austin. I have never had less success in my life in Waco. I am not the kind of guy those ladies are looking for.
I believe it. You're not the kind of guy any lady's looking for.
That's true.
Jeff, you also get hit on by a bunch of guys, too.
You got
I
hit
used
on by
to.
a guy at Waco, didn't
I
you?
did, yeah. It was the first time it ever happened to me. At a Denny's, a guy offered me $1,000 to have sex with him and his buddy.
How was it?
What'd you spend the money on?
I needed new tires on my truck. I was very flattered,
So how did he present that to you?
God, it's a long time ago, but he was just he was kind of like an effeminate dude, and he was really friendly, and I actually found Waco to be a very unfriendly place, because I was just gruff, disgusting punk kid, and I just got a lot of dirty looks and stuff. And he just came up and started talking to me. He was a waiter, and so I was talking to him, and then he got into this whole thing about how people think he's gay and he gets a lot of discrimination in Waco, but he's not.
What do you
he
think
just
about
is
that?
really and he's like, what do you think about it? Isn't that crazy? And I could totally tell the guy was fishing, yeah. And but he was really nice. And then at some point he asked for my phone number, and I gave him my phone number. I was like, yeah, why not? He seems like a nice guy. And then by the end he was like, the other day, check this. This is crazy. The other day somebody came in here and offered me $1,000 to have sex with him and another dude. That's crazy, right? And I was like, yeah, that's pretty crazy. He was like, would you ever do something like that? And I go, would I ever do something like what? And he goes, have sex with me and another man. Would you ever do something like that? And I was like, is this he was like $1,000. And I was like, I guess not, but I really appreciate the offer. Thank you.
God.
And then,
You asked.
it was the longest experience at Denny's I'd ever had.
How was the Grand Slam? Was it good?
It tasted like cock.
Good Lord.
You asked me
That was
yesterday if I would have sex with .com and Grizz from 30 Rock, if it meant I got to have sex with Suri afterwards.
Yes, I did. And you said yes?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's hard to say no to that.
All right, is there anything else we want to talk about before we wrap it up here?
I don't think so.
This fact might be right. I'm looking at my little Google Maps here, looking at Israel and looking at Waco, and it's right there.
That's interesting.
It's on the same latitude.
So the only place on the planet that's on the same latitude that has a river running through it.
City,
City,
from what I understand.
city, okay,
from what
sure.
I understand. That's what I was told, and this was around the time that David Koresh was
Okay.
wackadoo, going crazy and doing stuff.
All right. Well, I guess on that note, we'll wrap it up.
We're going to end on David Koresh, huh?
What a bizarre podcast this is.
Yeah, we've been all over the place, but I feel like we've all grown a bit and learned, and I'm glad we were able to share the experience.
I didn't even get to bring up Gary Condon. I was going to bring up Gary Condon with the whole discussion of Roman Polanski
man.
and David Letterman.
All right.
Gavin, do you know who David Condon is?
I don't.
Do you know? Anybody remember what Gary Condon was in trouble for?
No.
Gary Condon was, Chandra Levy. Remember that name?
Oh, yeah, Chandra Levy, yeah.
Yeah, he had an aide. He was a congressman. He had an aide who apparently he had an affair with, and she died, and she went missing. She went missing, and she was presumed dead, and they did end up finding her remains in a park in Washington, D.C. He was the primary suspect for a congressman, was accused, essentially, of killing his aide and having an affair with her. Well, first having an affair.
The other way around, though.
Yeah, having the affair and then killing her. And it was this huge deal. It was all anybody could talk about. And then that was, I think, around September 9th, 2001.
Oh, wow.
And then the September 11th incident happened, and you never heard about Gary. He stayed in office.
Really?
He was voted out in 2003.
He didn't do it.
No, he didn't do it. They're not...
Within the past year, they've started realizing that it wasn't him, that someone else confessed to it in jail.
Huh.
Well, he confessed to killing other people in the park. So now he's that guy's the primary suspect.
Right.
But
I would never go to
people
a
just-
park in America.
people just didn't pay attention to that.
It literally went away. It was front page everywhere. And as soon as 9/11 happened, you never
crazy.
heard about Gary Condon
Well,
again.
wasn't that-
He
how
was
about-
never accused either. He was never actually accused of the crime.
Here's a more recent example of that. Farrah Fawcett died.
Yeah, and then MJ.
And then MJ died like 3 hours later.
Well, she doesn't get to live.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but no, it's like nobody remembers that now.
But
There was probably a shitload of stuff that happened 2 weeks after 9/11 that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
Wasn't there an explosion in France that killed a lot of people? At
There's
the
a
same
plane
time?
crash in New York.
yeah,
like a month afterwards.
another plane crashed in Queens.
Into an apartment building.
It was a month after 9/11. Nobody ever talks about that.
Yeah.
Nobody. That's like the last major airline disaster in the U.S. is that airline crashing. There really hasn't been anything major. Mm-hmm. That dude Schnellenberger, or whatever his name was, he saved us from our big streak we had going.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Of no major... I mean, some commuter planes go down and stuff like that, but a major airline hasn't crashed now. I'm getting on a plane. Why the fuck am I talking about this a week before I get on a plane?
That's
All right, I'm done.
Airdisaster.com.
All right. Well, thanks for letting me be on the poddy all these times.
Yeah, we'll
I think
miss
this is
you.
my 10th or 11th appearance.
Do you count?
Maybe.
Bye, Gavin.
Yeah, bye. Get the fuck out of our country.
Adios,
Bye,
Gavin.
All right, thanks
See
for
you
listening.
soon.